everybody. I'm Kunal. Welcome to my class. Our today's topic is probability. Introduction of probability. See, this topic carrying 4 marks in board exam and 2 questions carrying 1 and 3 can be asked in board exam. Means total 4 marks. See, generally we use this term probability in our day-to-day conversation, and most of the people have a rough idea about probability. The concept of probability originated in the beginning of 18th century. In problems pertaining of game of chance. I am giving you some examples of game of chance, like tossing coin, drawing a dice, taking a card from pack of playing cards, spinning wheel. All these are examples of game of chance. Now, starting with the game of chance, probability has become the most basic tools of statistics and a wide range of application in science and engineering. So, in higher classes, you will have to study a lot about probability if you take science stream. Now, you are in 10th class, so we shall discuss about up to the level of class 10. Now, to understand the theory of probability, we have to deal with outcomes, events of a well-defined random experiment. See, what is experiment? So experiment is an operation to produce some outcomes, and the process of that experiment should be well defined. And to understand the concept of probability, we have to follow random experiment. Actually, experiments will have of 2 types. First, deterministic, and second, random. Just try to understand one example. You have a pack of lemon flavored candies only. You have 10 candies in this bag, and another bag you have carrying lemon flavored candy, orange flavored candy, mango flavored candy. Look at this. I am taking 2 examples of candies. First one, you have a bag of lemon flavored candies only. Another one, you have of bag of lemon, orange and mango flavored candy. See, if you take out one candy from this bag, if you take out any candy from this bag randomly, then in every case you will have only and only lemon flavored candy. Means in results are known as outcomes of the experiment. So in every case you will have almost the same result. So this type of experiments are known as deterministic experiment. And in another case, in other hand, if you take out any candy from this bag, it may be lemon flavored, it may be orange flavored, it may be mango flavored. Means here we have different outcomes. We have several outcomes. So this type of experiments are known as random experiment. Now, so to understand probability, we shall follow random experiment. As I have given some examples of game of chance, so here also you can say, in case of tossing a coin, most of us are fan of cricket, some of you are well player also. So tossing a coin is known as fair way to select which team will bat first or bowl first. So in case of tossing a coin, you will have either head or tail. Means in every case it is not necessary that it will be a head. It will be a tail, means the outcomes can be changed. It may be head, it may be tail. In case of rolling a dice, you may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know dice? While playing Ludo, we have to use this dice. Dice is a cubic object having 6 faces. And numbers from 1 to 6 marked on 1 on each face. And the concept of dice is the sum of opposite faces should be 7. So here, if we roll this dice, if we throw a dice, then you will have 1, you may have 2, you may have 3, 4, 5, 6. Among these 6, anyone can be obtained as our outcome. So we have different possible outcomes. So this type of experiments are what? Random experiments. And one new point you must know to understand probability, and that is elementary event. Just try to understand it. Elementary event. What is it? Elementary event is the outcome of any random experiment. Look at this. In case of tossing coin, the possible outcomes head, tail. So getting head is an elementary event. Getting tail is also an elementary event. So in case of tossing a coin, how many elementary events will have? 2 elementary events. Why? Because we have these 2 outcomes, possible outcomes. In case of drawing a dice, we have 6 possible outcomes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Any one of these. So we will have 6 outcomes, means we will have 6 elementary events. Elementary events, getting 1, it is an elementary event. Getting 2, it is also an elementary event. Getting 3, getting 4, getting 5, getting 6. All these are elementary events. Next, you must know about compound event. Now what about compound? So by its name you can understand, if these elementary events, means 2 or more than 2 elementary events are combined. If we take 2 or more than 2 elementary events together, then they form a compound event. Just try to understand by this example, getting an even number while drawing a dice. So if you draw dice, then 2, 4 and 6, you know even numbers. So 2, 4 and 6 are even numbers. So these are 3 elementary events, 2, 4 and 6. These are 3 elementary events form a compound event of getting an even number. So getting an even number is a compound event. Next, getting an odd number. It is also a compound event. Getting a prime number, you know prime number, 2, 3, 5. Numbers which are divisible by 1 and itself only, then numbers are prime numbers. So these all are examples of compound event. Next, to understand probability, everybody must know about favorable outcomes. Now, in any experiment, if you define any event, whether it is elementary event or compound event, the outcomes which are favorable to that elementary event or compound event, whatever, commonly I am saying event. So the outcomes which are favorable to the particular event is what? Favorable outcomes. So if I say getting 1 in drawing a dice, so here how many numbers are, or how many outcomes are favorable to getting 1? So there is only 1. If I say an even number, the desired event is what? An even number. Then 2, 4, 6. If one of these we get 2, 4 or 6, means here 3 outcomes are favorable to this event. So these are favorable outcomes of desired event. In case of odd number, the desired event is an odd number, getting an odd number. Then the number of favorable outcomes are 1, 3 and 5. So the total number of favorable outcomes you will have 3. Next and the most important thing is total number of outcomes. So in case of total number of outcomes, you have to count all the possible results. In case of tossing a coin, you will have 2 possible outcomes. In case of drawing a dice, you will have 6 possible outcomes, like this. So for any event, these favorable outcomes are denoted by M and total number of outcomes are denoted by N. So hope you understand these topics. First, experiment. It should be well defined. Experiments are of 2 types, deterministic and random. In deterministic, you will have almost the same results, while in random experiment, you will have several outcomes, you will have different outcomes. Now, elementary events, each of the outcome of a random experiment is known as elementary event. Then compound event, if 2 or more than 2 elementary events combine together, then they form compound event. Then favorable outcomes, so the number of outcomes which are favorable to the desired event, whether it is elementary or compound, is known as favorable outcomes, and it is denoted by M. And total number of outcomes, which is denoted by N. So after this, we shall check how to find the probability and types of events. Yes, next we shall discuss how to find the probability of an event. So if we name any event to be A, then to find probability of the event, see, probability of an event A is what? M by N, where M is what? Number of outcomes favorable to the desired event, and N is the total number of outcomes. Now, I am giving you some examples to understand remaining basic concepts of probability. Here, you have a bag containing 10 lemon flavored candies only. Now, if you take any candy from this bag, and if I ask you, what about the probability of getting a lemon flavored candy, then what will you say? If I don't ask you about the probability, if I ask you, take a candy from this bag, and if I ask you, which flavored candy do you have, then what will you say? It's lemon flavored. Why? Because this bag contains only and only lemon flavored candy. So now, here in this case, m is what? 10, because of 10 lemon flavored candies we have. What about 10? The total number of candies is also 10. So when we find the probability, see, by following this formula, m by n, so it is 10 by 10, so it is what? 1. So this type of events where the probability is 1, directly you can say it is sure that you will get lemon flavored candy. So this type of events are known as sure event. Just try to understand. Next topic is what? Sure event. What about sure event? So if the probability is 1, or if we say the number of favorable outcomes is equal to the total number of possible outcomes, then such type of events are known as sure event. Or you can say the event which is certain to happen, 100% it will happen, then it is known as sure event. So in case of sure event, its probability will be 1. Next one is impossible event. By its name you can understand the event which is impossible to happen. Like if I say take one candy from it, and if I ask you for mango flavored candy, then what will you say? It's not mango flavored candy, it is lemon flavored candy. Why? Because this bag does not contain any mango flavored candy. That's why here in second case m is what? 0, because none of the candies in this bag is mango flavored. So here m is equal to 0. Its favorable outcomes will be 0. Then n, total number of outcomes 10. So when you find probability of this event, you will get 0 by 10. It is what? 0. So we can say the probability of impossible event is what? 0. I named this event to be B. That's why I have written here probability of B. Now next, have you understood this too? Sure event, probability 1, impossible event, probability 0. Question carrying 1 mark can be asked in board exam. What is the probability of sure event? Right answer 1, you will get 1 mark. What is the probability of impossible event? Write 0, you will get 1 mark. Next one is negation of an event A. See, if I say any event A, and if I say that this event A does not occur, means it does not happen, then what will we have? Not happening of event A, and not happening of event A is known as negation of an event A. So when it will happen? Of an event A occurs if and if event A does not occurs. Just try to understand this concept. Let us take one more example. In this bag you have one lemon flavored candy, one mango flavored candy, and one orange flavored candy. Just try to understand. So how many elementary events we have? 3 elementary events. Lemon flavored, mango flavored, and orange flavored. So if I name any of the events to be A, event A is what? Getting a lemon flavored candy. Just try to understand. Here. Then what about not A? Negation of the event A. Not getting a lemon flavored candy means other than lemon flavored candy, whatever you get, whether it is mango or orange, these two outcomes are favorable to not A. This one outcome is favorable to event A, other than this one, rest are favorable to event not A. So here, for getting a lemon flavored candy, M is what? 1. So for this, number of favorable outcomes will be N minus M. From the total, you will have to subtract the outcomes favorable to event A. Then after you can find the probability by following this formula. So try to understand it. Then if you have any doubt, you can ask me related to this topic. And last and final topic is remaining. So let me rough it. Yes, as we have discussed, the probability of the event is M by N, where M, the number of outcomes favorable to the desired event A, and N is the total number of outcomes. Now the probability of sure event is 1, and sure event is the event which is certain to happen. Impossible event, its probability 0, and the event which is not possible, then it is known as impossible event. The next negation of an event A, about this we have discussed. It happens or it occurs if event A does not occur, and if the number of favorable outcomes to the event A is M, then the number of favorable outcomes of not A will be N minus M. Means from the total number of outcomes you have to subtract M. Now according to this, if we think about the value of M, the possible value of M, then can we say M is equal to 0? Yes, for the impossible event it is equal to 0, and for some events it is greater than 0 also. Sometimes the number of favorable outcomes you will have 1, sometimes it is 2, sometimes it is 3, sometimes it is 4, and they are less than total number of outcomes also. And in case of sure event, the number of favorable outcomes and the total number of outcomes, they are equal, means we can say M is equal to N also. So here M can be defined like M is greater than or equal to 0, and we can say M is less than or equal to N. So this is the limit of M, the number of favorable outcomes. Now if we divide this 3 by N, what will we get? 0 by N, M by N, N by N. 0 by N, you know 0, any number if we take as a denominator, and numerator 0 means it is 0. M by N, already we have discussed the formula, probability of the event, and N by N is what? 1. So this is the range of probability. For impossible event it is 0, for sure event it is 1, and for rest of the events it is between 0 and 1. Means probability cannot be less than 0, means probability cannot be negative, and probability of the event cannot be more than 1. Next we shall discuss about negation of an event. We have one more formula for this also. So here the number of favorable outcomes to the negation of event A, means not A, is what? N minus M. So by following this formula, not A, it it can be expressed like this also. What will we get? N minus m by n. Solve it. N by n minus m by n. What will we get? N by n is 1 and m by n is probability of the event. Change its side. So probability of the event plus probability of not A is equal to 1. So in board exam, question carrying 1 marks are asked from this formula. Probability of the event A plus probability of negation of event A is equal to 1. Means sum of these two probabilities is always 1. Now and last basic concept of probability for class 10th is about the probability of elementary events. Just try to understand this last topic, then we shall take exercise and examples. Questions related to probability. See, we have taken one example of candies. We can take about dice also. We can think about coin also. See, in previous example, as we have taken one lemon flavored candy, one mango flavored candy and one orange flavored candy. In case of dice, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In case of coin, you will have either head or tail. In every case, if we find the probability of elementary event, so for lemon, what will you have? 1 by 3 because of 3 candies, total number of. For orange, it is also 1 by 3. For mango, it is 1 by 3, and for orange also 1 by 3. Next, in case of dice, for elementary event, each of them you will have 1 by 6. In case of coin, you will have 1 by 2. For head, 1 by 2 you will have for tail. So if we find the sum of elementary events, if we find the sum of probability of elementary events, it will be 1. Let's check it. 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3. It is common 3 and 1 plus 1 plus 1. It is 1. Here 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6, 6 times you have. So it is 6 by 6 means 1. Here 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, half plus half, 2 halves is 1. So here you will have one more formula, and what is it? Probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C and so on. The sum of probability of all the elementary events is always 1. So question can be asked carrying 1 mark from this also. What is the sum of probability of all the elementary events of a random experiment? So you have to write 1. So in this intro of probability, some of the questions also we have solved, which can be asked in board exam. First, what is the formula to write probability? So it is m by n, where m is the number of favorable outcomes to the desired event and n is total number of outcomes. The probability of sure event is 1, the probability of impossible event is 0, and this limit of m is greater than or equal to 0 but less than or equal to n, and probability of the event is greater than or equal to 0 but less than or equal to 1. Then this formula, probability of an event A plus probability of negation of event A is equal to 1, and at the last the sum of probability of all the elementary events is equal to 1. So next we shall take types of questions your examples and exercise and board exams questions from year 2013 to 2019. All the papers we shall discuss from this topic, probability. So if you have doubt in this intro of probability, you can ask me through the comment box, and you can WhatsApp me your doubts on my WhatsApp number 9983692903. Thank you so much. Keep attend my class and hope you will understand very well. Thank you so much.